Thank you for being on this hour. And just so you know, sometimes I can see people who are asking questions on YouTube. I think I can catch them, and I'll be glad to answer those questions. If and I think what's going on in the chat is sometimes different. That shows up in the comments below. I still have to figure out those logistics, but if I can answer your question, I'll do that in the call. If I see them on come up in the chat, I'll be glad to do that. If it's difficult, I mean, obviously you can't interact with me on YouTube. So if you go to the DestinationFreedom.org website during this hour, you'll be able to just come into the GoToMeeting platform and be able to ask questions and all that, and be on this the call. So let me see. So here's one of the things is that I'll let our call know. Let's see, what is it? Who can't hear who? Oh yeah, I can't. I'm not listening to anything on YouTube. I'm only hearing what's going on in the room here. So if someone asks a question here, and YouTube can't hear what's going on in there. So these two groups can't hear each other. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that you know what's being asked, and so that I can answer it, so it leads to some continuity. So I also want to mention this, like everybody says, if you're coming on and you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, then please do. They say it helps the algorithm, but I don't know what the algorithm is, so I don't know if it helps or not. But I like to see it grow. I think we're up to about 1,036 subscribers, and I think in the last month we had 28 come on board, which I'm thankful for. So anytime we can grow this and do more on here, I'm thankful for that, and we'll do our best to have something. And hopefully tonight's topic will be good and helpful, and hopefully it'll do well for you. So I want to make sure I don't miss these questions that are still coming in on our. It says, let's see here. Someone says they're unsubscribed. Let's see, it's unsubscribed me again from YouTube. I'm looking for the link. Okay, that's cool. That's good. Happy holidays to David as well. Okay. Well, look, everybody's been very helpful having links to YouTube. Well, that's cool. Well, on this particular hour, and again, thanks for joining us, I'm going to get into the topic of self-government, and not like, the end-all be-all in self-government. But I'll tell you, I've been doing this freedom work for a few years. There's a lot of preparation in my life that led up to just being involved. My story goes back to where a friend of our family had given me a book called Vultures and Eagles Clothing by Lynn Meredith. And it really did. It changed my life. It changed, sort of changed my life. It didn't change who I was, but it changed the direction and how I was going to do business and do things, because I believe that you have to be true. So that began the process in which I began to interact with IRS and pull out of the federal zone. That was back in the 90s. And then it was like in 2004, I began to help my friends and others also pull out of the federal zone. And it's just been an amazing journey of people who want to make sure that their paperwork is true and correct. That's really this is an administrative thing. So, but my point of that is that, I feel like the freedom community in America and really the freedom community worldwide, it's kind of like, for me, it feels like it's a family. And so you have your close, family members, and then you have your community, and it's great to get together with people from all over the world. Like right now, one of the things I didn't put in the email, which I'll send an email out. It's another thing I should do. I forgot I was going to do that in this last email. And that was, there are some events coming up, and that leads me into what we're going to talk about tonight. But one event coming up in February is in Acapulco, which is in Acapulco, Mexico. And so there's a number of freedom-minded people from around the world that are going to be there. And so it's Jeff Berwick and the Dollar Vigilantes function. And so they're facilitating down there in Acapulco. And I've been there 2 years before. This will be my third time, but I haven't been in the last couple of years. And so I'm going to be down there. So I just want you to know that if you go down there, I would love to meet with you and we can have drinks together and be social and all that. So this year, I'll be going down with my son. That's going to be awesome. We're both looking forward to that. Should be a good time. So I'm looking forward to that event. And so that's coming up in February. And again, I'll send out an email with the data on that. So I apologize. I was rushed. This email that just came out today, this afternoon, almost this evening, was supposed to go out last weekend, but I have to do a better job of managing my day. It's like my day fills up awfully fast. And of course, we're taking phone calls all the time. So it's a challenge sometimes. Maybe it's someday I'll have a staff member doing these. Now that's a great goal for 2024. Someone else doing. No, my son's not working for him. Well, he attends. He attends the events with me sometimes. So anyway, that's what he helps with. But I think he wants to do some stuff here. So anyway, I wanted to mark that down. So anyway, so what's coming up in January is I think we have it on here on the first page. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, here's the. It's coming up on the 19th of January. I think it's back when I did this training. This is called the breakthrough training. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. It was back in the, was probably in the early 2000s that I had done this breakthrough training. And it was here in New Hampshire. It was quite profound. It was an event single-handedly had really made a huge shift in my relationships and really for me as a Christian, my Christian walk. It really made it living and real, the power of your love actually showing up and knowing how it's showing up. It's really quite exciting. But back when I took it, it was called Momentous, and then the training changed to the name Breakthrough Training. And it is a rigorous training. And back when I did it, it was 4 days. And so they trimmed it down so that they could and filled the days up so that you can get more in less amount of time. So it's like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it starts off at like 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday and goes to like 5 o'clock on Sunday. And it is powerful. And the beauty of it is that it's experiential in nature. So there are exercises that you're going to be able to do so that you can see and actually have transformation occur in your life, that you can demonstrably experience to shift how you're being, so that the people that you love or the people that you're committed to, because this can be profound with respect to not just your spouse, your children, business partners, people like that, and so you'll get to have transformation occur in that event that you can walk away with and use as tools in your relationships. It is quite profound. It's astonishing. So, and we have some clients that are interested, and I think they've signed up on this for this particular training. So I'm hoping to have a number of people from our community that are a part of that event there in Austin, Texas. And of course, we have clients in Austin, and so maybe they want to be a part of this as well. So the trainer for this particular training, I'm looking to have him come on and do a special call for our group to answer questions and things like that. That should be a wonderful event. And so that's one of the things that's coming up now. I don't know whether I'm going to be there for the whole event or just on Sunday, because I'm just going to go down to support the people that are looking to take it. I'm not going to be attending or taking this training If I were to be there for the entire training, I probably would be a part of the supporting team, and that's probably how I would participate in the event if that was it, or however they want to utilize me. Back when I was doing it, I tended to do the music for the event, which music is a powerful tool that's used in these trainings, and it's quite exciting. So, and the reason that I wanted to put this on here in this area of self-government, because it's so relevant to how our communities function with each other. One of the things I've talked about in the freedom community and about how people are is that if freedom-minded people don't do community better than the communists, then I think the communists are going to prevail in our communities and in our society. And that means that's true for your local, county, state, America, and the world. If the socialists are the only ones that know how to build the better, the freer societies, then we're in trouble. We have to master those things. Now, as a Christian, I say the same thing about the Christian church. If the church, and its members don't know how to do community and love each other better than the world does, from their perspective, then the church has some learning to do if it's going to really truly make a difference. So whether you're in that group of, as Christians, or you're in the freedom community, how we do community, how we do charity, how we govern ourselves is absolutely going to matter. And if you've if you never hung out in the freedom community, maybe you don't have any experience in that. That would be something you might want to look into. Someone says, is there a website that gives you details about the event? Yes, I included them on the first page of DestinationFreedom.org is a link for about the breakthrough training. That's on the flourishinglife.org website. And then there's I think it's kind of a registration, I guess, is the venturegivevirtuous.org event. There's also a link for that. So both those are on the DestinationFreedom.org website. And they'll stay on there until either the event is over, or I may change the links if things change. Now, there was a discount that was available, at least in the email I got, and I thought it was up until the 21st of this month. I'll check in and see if we can get it extended. But if you end up enrolling for that, there is a $200 discount right now for that. At least that's what I was aware of, and I got that. I'm gonna make sure. Hang on, and make sure that my phone isn't gonna die here. That's how I'm doing these things here. Let me just check and make sure that I'm. So hopefully, well, that's not gonna work at all. Well, there we go. It's a catastrophe. I want to make sure that I'm plugged in, because if the phone dies, then the YouTube will end. That'll be bad. So hopefully, technologically, it'll work out. So anyway, when we're talking about self-government, I was talking to someone the other day about this form of government. We were talking about freedom communities and all that stuff. But you see, the founders, in America, they stated that the form of government that we have, a representative form of government, a constitutional republic, only worked for a religious and moral people. So the idea is that if you don't have a standard outside yourself, or at least maybe some standard that you can be accountable to, it may be very difficult for you to be participating in a free society if there's no standard of excellence for yourself. And so there are people that I was talking last night, I guess, on a call. I was doing an interview with somebody, and we were talking about in a community where there was an event and there was somebody that was paid to be an event. And so the venue, this is a freedom event. The venue had said to people attending we're paying this person for this event, and we want to make this available so we can recover some of our costs. We're going to be able to make available what we're recording. And so they asked the attendees not to record it. Well, some attendees just thought, hey, I'm a free guy. Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm going to steal this. Even though I'm not paying for access to this person, I'm going to get this data, and then I'll sell it to someone who's going to broadcast it. And so then people are excommunicated, and it's a breakdown, because even within our freedom community, people are thieves, and people are not honorable, and people lie, cheat, and steal. Be at the pork fest, and there's meal carts in places, and people are making things available by the honor system, where you put your money in, you take a piece of pie and stuff, and then we find out that someone has stolen the money jar or box or whatever, or they've taken all of the stuff and they didn't put any money in. And here it is, a freedom event. Now, sometimes in these kinds of venues, kids do things, and sometimes expected that children need to learn how to govern themselves, and this is not good. There isn't that. But if it's adults that are doing it, then you're dealing with people who are immoral, and that they're living as animals, if you will, or maybe that's mean towards animals. Maybe animals don't do that. But the idea is that even within our freedom communities, people are not at their best and bring their best. One of the things that we were talking about on this call was the concept of one of the principles of the Libertarian Party or the anarchists is what they call non-aggressive principle, non-aggression, no aggression towards another person. And someone mentioned about that is actually a negative, because it still has the word aggression in there. So non-aggression is not good. And that what they were suggesting, that maybe they were thinking that some sort of mutual respect would be a better type of term. So, but what I was saying is, if all you're bringing to the table is that you're not going to violate somebody, you're bringing nothing to the table. And that's the base thing is, here I am, I'm here in the community, I'm just here not to hurt anybody. Is that it? Is that the best you are? Well, then see you later. We don't need you here. So you should have something you're bringing to the table, something you bring to the table that is for your life is a gift to other people. What is it you're bringing to the table? So I'm suggesting that we might raise our standards so that we can, be true with and to each other. I want to lose the. Let me lose the. Let me see if it drops out. Oh, that's just a pause. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, so the idea is to really raise your standards so that when you're in community with other people, they can benefit from your life, and I think that's a much better community. And so if in our freedom community, let me just say this, if you are not a part of the freedom community in your town, it may need to be you that helps facilitate that and get that going. You might find a venue in a restaurant or in the public in some capacity that's safe for people and get together to talk about freedom things, certainly local. And sometimes people have a difficult time determining what is freedom talk and what is politics. Because sometimes people get into the politics of things, and many times it's an us and them kind of a mindset, and that doesn't serve other people. It's not the bigger picture, in my opinion. I believe that talking politics, is just a cover up about always, every single time there's a bill, in whether that's in your house or a matter in your local town, county, every time there's something being submitted, without exception, it's always going to be a question of, are we securing rights here, or are we expanding government on some level? And so that's really what has to always be talked about. And if freedom-minded people, think that way, then it'd make a difference with respect to that. We do have a question. I guess that was Bob has a question. I guess there's a Bob. Maybe there's no Bob. There's a Bob. Yeah, you have a question, Bob. You want to type it in, or you want to ask me, and then I'll repeat it for our folks on YouTube. So go ahead. Maybe he accidentally raised his hands. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom. No, Bob, you have a question, right? Bob does have a question. Let me see if they can lower his hand. Let's see here. Lower hand. All right. So I lowered Bob's hand. That's cool. Anyway, so by all means, ask your question, Bob, if it comes up for you. And maybe he accidentally dropped out. But anyway, so when Bob has a question that he wants to type in or ask, by all means, then I'll repeat it. So anyway, so getting back to self-government, a lot of times when dealing with clients, there are freedom-minded people that they have a lot of energy around cops in general, right? And so and it's not necessarily a good energy. They have feelings like the cops are after them, and they've framed every cop as a bad cop, and that's just not true. And there are people that think that every attorney is a bad attorney. It's just not true. It's too large of a group to think that everybody in that particular group doesn't care about people or is working towards freedom in some capacity. That doesn't mean always. And maybe it's a small community, but it's very difficult. If someone thinks that life should be about fighting, we'll find that many times they want to get out of that jurisdiction because they haven't governed themselves very well. And so therefore, sometimes they're a cop magnet, and then they have to sort out. And then sometimes they feel good about dealing with a cop in some capacity. And again, it's not for me to determine what their pursuit of happiness is, but it is important for us to be determining how we're going to be with each other in community. Another thing that is known out there that I think is a problem, and again, I'm looking at it from a Christian standpoint. And when I say Christian, that doesn't tell you anything. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and I don't, I'm not a part of any particular denomination or group. But sometimes parents in the freedom community will not discipline their children in a way that teaches the children to self-govern. And the way you can find out is have those children come over your house and see how out of control the children are. Because at home, the parents don't govern them at all. And some parents may not believe I should govern my children. The children should be able to do whatever they want. They get to see how that shit plays out. And sometimes it's bad, and yet that's going to play out whether you're going to see well-disciplined children. And what does that mean by well-disciplined? Being aware of others, governing yourself, keeping your hands to yourself, not requiring a lot of energy to just sit or do something or whatever it is. So that all plays out in how we learn how to govern ourselves. There was a rule that we taught our children as they were growing up. And that is this: if you don't govern yourself, somebody else will. And so if you don't want somebody else to govern you, then it's going to be best for you to govern yourself. And we were talking about in the same space about, how we do our charities. I see freedom groups that are like, hey, let's form a group. And all of a sudden they're connecting that group to the government by a nonprofit or some tax thing because they have money, and so therefore they think they have to offer tax breaks to people, even though it's a freedom organization. To me, that's a bit of madness, but that's pretty common where freedom-minded groups don't know how to stay out of those jurisdictions. That's where we like to help our community navigate in their businesses and their financial dealings so that they stay out of the federal zone and they keep from paying as many taxes as they can. And again, there's always remedies for given situations. And when you understand principles of liberty and freedom, you're going to be able to determine what government should and shouldn't be able to do. And just because government's been doing something for a long time doesn't mean that it is right or good or even legal as far as that's concerned. And legal is one thing, lawful, we understand, is another thing. Sometimes legal can be, something that's corrupt, because as long as it's legal, then it's okay. So that's a very low standard by which people should be interacting with each other. But again, the idea of self-government is an important aspect of bringing your community together. So if you're not attending a local Freedom Fellowship, then I would just urge you to take one night a week or some particular time and invite people in your community to come together, and that you can support each other. And really, and you could do that with a church and be a part of a church, so that you can, maybe your own fellowship associated with the church, people from the church, the local people, can come and be a part of your Freedom Fellowship. But I think an average Freedom Fellowship should have multiple faiths and be a part of that. Because if we're talking about freedom in America, then we have to recognize that there is religious freedom, and people should be able to be together without harming each other, and bringing something of value to the table, so that it can be a blessing. So I would encourage you to create a Freedom Fellowship for yourself and the people around you. And we have links to that. One of the things that I was endeavoring to do on our Thursday night was, we were doing a Bible study on a Thursday night, and I have a class. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but under the I think it's under under the class and workshop. Yeah, there is a Bible study. It's a 12-session class that'll show you how the Bible interprets itself, and how you can understand the Bible for yourself without relying upon someone to tell you what everything means in the scriptures. You can understand how it's put together. And this is from a biblical research background, as opposed to just a Bible study about, what have you. Yeah, that's good. Your religion, whether it's Christianity or whatever, it's just your religion is your daily devotional, and people should see your faith, whatever that is, show up in your life, and your life should be a beautiful thing. That's so I'll check that out. But anyway, so I wanted to just bring that up for this community, so that people could to be aware of what they're creating in their life. And most of the time when I'm dealing with clients, we're talking about how they're doing their business and all that, but really all of the things you're doing in the freedom communities and in your life should be based in what you believe about yourself and the connection you have with the divine, whatever that may be. And like I say many times, is that it's more important to understand principles of liberty and freedom than it is to understanding any statute and code that men put together. And once you understand who you are and your connection with the divine, then you'll understand that the only purpose of a just government is to secure rights and nothing else. So anyway, we try to, again, help our clients come up with that. And we do have some other classes that we're planning on putting on this coming year. One of the unique things that we're looking to do this year is to connect with churches, to help churches unplug from the matrix, or unplug from the federal zone, if you will. And so if you're on any kind of leadership team with your church, or you have access to the pastor, and the pastor would be interested in really, the financial benefit of pulling out of the federal zone is that every member of the church gets a 25 to 30% income increase. They're not paying the middle pedophile. And then imagine if the church was in debt, how we can end up eliminating people's debt and move them from being in debt to being solvent. How much money is that every month? And then the church they can fully share the benefit of their prosperity, and God can sanction that and bless that. That is what we're hoping for in 2024. And we have someone working on that prayer website. Well, I'll let you know that comes about. So I wanted to be able to open up, and on YouTube, you probably won't. I mean, you won't hear this, so I'll help you with some of these questions, and we'll get into some discussion if you want to add to the conversation about self-government, or if you have questions about this particular breakthrough training. I think this. I want to say that it was $895 for the 3-day event down in Austin, Texas, and I think if the discount, that's $695 for that. That's a huge savings. If you can take advantage of that, we'll see to it that that happens for you, and see if we can make that available. Like I said, I think I was offered, I think, that up until the 21st, which is tomorrow. So let me know if you have interest in that, or let me know also if you would like to be in on the call with the trainer for that training. We're going to bring him in and we'll do something like this, or he'll have a Zoom and I'll make a link available for people to participate and get more information about that. Again, it's not for the faint of heart, and it's imagine attending a rigorous love, a relationship event. And when I say rigorous, I'm not kidding. It's profound. I mean, imagine. I'll tell you how it's rigorous, and this leads me to what's going on tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I want to talk about the film It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not going to do a commentary, if you will, like we're going to do with The Matrix next year. The Matrix, we were having technical problems with that. The Matrix commentary is going to be in January, like the 4th. So if you want to be on in that, you can email me at statecitizen@destinationfreedom.org and say, I want, Morpheus, I want to unplug from the Matrix or whatever, and then we'll make sure you get a link to that talk that we're going to do on the 4th of January. But tomorrow night, I'm going to talk about It's a Wonderful Life, and I'm excited about that because, and again, this is when I was talking about this breakthrough training. If you've ever seen It's a Wonderful Life and you see what kind of rigor was going on in George Bailey's life from the time he was growing up and the kind of person he was, and then that $8,000 that Uncle Billy lost, and how his life was coming undone. He had no idea of the impact of his life on other people. And so for good or for ill, that's the beautiful thing of the film It's a Wonderful Life. So if you get to see it between now and tomorrow night, or if I can inspire you to watch it, that'll be great. I remember years ago, I so loved Jimmy Stewart's work. There was a poem that I once read that said something like, if you see a man's life is doing something good, be sure to tell him now, for when he's gone, or when he's under the clover, he won't be able to read his tombstone when he's dead. So you need to tell him that his life has been wonderful and all that. So anyway, so I had a friend that my ex-wife, her best friend was Dave Brubeck's daughter. Anyway, so we knew the Brubecks through his daughter, and so he got me Jimmy Stewart's address. And years ago, I have a picture on the wall in my office that is a letter that Jimmy Stewart wrote me back, and he thanked me for the poem that I sent him, and I wanted to tell him how much I appreciated his work and what it meant to me. And so I treasure that. And so that I got that done because I thought about it, and I wanted to be able to let him know that before he passed away. And so again, that's the beauty of this breakthrough training, is if you're struggling in your relationship, if you don't know whether your children are getting your love, if your spouse, if you wonder whether you're actually hitting the mark, and whether your spouse is getting your love, you can know truly whether they are or not. And so it's really, if you want to make a difference, I'm telling you, this thing is that strong. And I tell you, it's quite profound. It's definitely life-changing. And then after I did that training years ago, we were on teams for years and years facilitating it here in New Hampshire for a long time. And that was even as profound. helping facilitate that change in other people was an amazing learning experience for me. So, so the what I was going to say is one of those unique things that when I married my wife Lisbeth, and I had broken up from a 20 plus year marriage with my children's mother, and I love her still, and she's part of our life, friends with my wife, and so we're struggling to be a family together, and when your kids are adults and you're trying to still be a parent as well as with adults as opposed to them being children, that sometimes has a rigor with that. But one of the things that I wanted to point out about when I met my wife Lisbeth, I learned that I had no Bible verse or no place where Jesus Christ ever told anybody to tell them, I love you. What is that? We do that. We say, be sure to tell them you love them. Really? Really? What's that all about? And when you really examine that, I love you, you know what it usually is? It's I love you is a question. We don't frame it like a question. I love you, and nothing comes back. Because what I really want is I want you to tell me that I'm the object of your affection. Because what I didn't get this week was that I'm the object of your affection, and vice versa. So rather than say to somebody, I love you, it's much better to look at them and say, did you get my love today or tomorrow? Or, or yet less last week. Did you get my love? And then if they're honest enough to answer you, they may say, no, I didn't get your love today, Or like for my wife and I, if I ask her, did you get my love? Sometimes they, she'll say mostly. And let me tell you, mostly is perfect. Because as long as it's mostly and not like very little or whatever it is, if it's mostly, then it's at least on the upside, But it's always in a place to where I get to examine, because it doesn't matter whether I say I love you if they're not getting it. What good that's the thing that I hope for my children, is that no matter what, after I pass, that if someone asked them, did you experience or did your father love you? If they can't quickly say yes, then I failed as a father. Just like in the scriptures where, Jesus Christ comes up out of the water and God says many times, even in the presence of the disciples, where he says, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Every son wants that, and daughter wants that of their father. And a father should give that to his children before something happens. They should get it, that they are loved. And sometimes it's a struggle. So it's very exciting to be able to touch that and be able to say, do you get my love? And in this breakthrough training, you'll be able to know whether they are, and you'll be able to have the courage to ask that question, because sometimes the question may come back honestly, no, I don't get your love. So it's quite exciting and profound. Someone says, because you can't say it after they die. That is correct. And if they die or if you die, I don't know which is which, but no. Oh, I feel sorry for you. No, it's like, yeah, listen, no, I dare you to ask, do you get my love? Because it doesn't really matter if you say it a lot, because the truth of the matter is you don't have to say it if they get it. You don't. It's nice, but I mean, you could tell someone that you love them, but if they don't know it, if they've not experienced it, what are your words for? It's just a stroking my own ego. I love you. Can't you tell? Like the abuser. I love you. You're staying with me. That's not love, But no, it's profound and it's honest. And I can't say that we always we always hit the mark. But it's important that people it's important for people to get it, because again, if Jesus Christ for me is my standard, he never said to Peter, well, Peter, you know, you should tell people that you love them more because you just don't say it. There's no place in the Bible that says that. So as a standard, he did say to Peter, he says, love them, love he says, my sheep, my lambs, love them as I have loved you. So he was telling them he loved him. He laid down his life for them. And they knew he loved them. He never ever told them, I love you. He just loved them. And that's the most important thing, that they get it no matter what, So anyway, so any other question about this work, I will keep you posted. We will plan a time where the trainer will come on and you'll be able to ask him questions directly. I don't know or think it'll be between Christmas and New Year's, maybe, but it may be just right after, like that first week in January. So we have a few weeks before that training that happens on the 19th. So I'll reach out to him and talk to him. It's a Wonderful Life talk will be on the Thursday. Oh, you know what? I will post a link to that. It's a Wonderful Life call. I'll do that on. I'll do that in an email. I'll send that out tonight. But what should I do? Should I do it on the Thursday call or the? I'll do a special link. It's usually the Thursday night call. I'll look and see if we have a Thursday night call link on the website. Otherwise, I'll send it out. Yeah, so I'll send it out. Having a discussion about it. I think you'll find it exciting. I love that film, and there's a lot in there to enjoy. So, and it'll be for this season. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for being on, and I thank you all for your questions, your spirited questions. And if I don't see you before now and Christmas, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas if you do that sort of thing. Or if I like to say Happy Holidays because I like to include Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So I think of the holidays that way. And maybe next year I'll do a talk on how December isn't, how December 25th doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ. But but it is a historical thing that people like, but it has nothing to do with history or to do with the scripture about December 25th. But that'll be a fun call. Maybe I'll do that next holidays so people can know. But anyway. All right. Well, God bless you all, and I love you. And if you're on by the way, just want to let you know that if you want to do the passport process, I'm doing just tonight. I'm doing it's normally $1,800. We have a discount tonight. Holiday discount at $1,620. But tonight, I wanted to gift everybody tonight those that came on the call for $1,000. So if you do a payment for that tonight, we'll give you all the full passport process for that price, and I'll make sure that happens for you. All right, just wanted to say that for my gift to you for tonight. All right, well, thank you all so much, and we'll talk to you next time. If you are watching this on YouTube, I don't think that discount's going to be available when you watch it, but if you want a discount in some of our stuff, then just reach out and ask us, and we'll see if we can get you a discount of some sort on any of our processes, okay? All right, I love you all. We'll talk to you soon. You take care, all right? Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon. All right. Take care.